Okay, here we go. So, write the equation of a line passing through 2 points. First thing you need is you need the slope. For the slope, you do the change in y over change in x. That's the y, that's the y. 6 minus -3, and that's my x. That's an x. 2 minus 5 ends up 6 minus -3, make it plus, that gives me 9. 2 minus 5 is -3. 9 divided by -3 is -3, so that's my slope. And then what I want to do is I want to use the point slope formula. Y minus my y coordinate is equal to x, the slope times x minus my x coordinate. Fill in the blanks. Here's my slope. Goes in here. Pick a point. I'm going to use this one because they're both positive. 6 is my y coordinate. 2 is my x coordinate. And then I simplify. 2 steps to do this. Step number 1, distribute the -3. Y minus 6 equals -3x plus 6. And then I add 6 to both sides to get y by itself. Y equals -3x plus 12. Okay. Second problem. Write the equation of a line parallel or perpendicular. In this one, I want a line parallel. The slope of this line is 2/3. The slope of my new line will also be 2/3 because it's parallel. Parallel lines have the same slope. If it was perpendicular, the slope would be -3/2. Flip it over and change the sign. My slope is 2/3. Do the same thing I did on the last one. Y minus my y coordinate equals my slope times x minus my x coordinate, and fill in the blanks. My slope goes here, it's 2/3. My y coordinate is 2. My x coordinate is -6. And then simplify to get y equals. Make my double negative positive, and then distribute my 2/3. Y minus 2 equals 2/3 x. 2/3 2/3 times 6 gives me 4. Add 2 to both sides to get the y by itself. Y equals 2/3 x plus 6. Okay, next slide. Solve the system of linear equations by graphing. In other words, graph the two lines. Where do they cross? So the first line, I'm going to do the one on top first. This is in slope-intercept form. My y-intercept is -5. My slope is 1/2. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. My slope is 1/2, which means I go over 2 up 1. And there is my slope. Okay, not a great straight line, but you get the idea. Second one, I'm going to use x and y intercepts. So first thing I do is I let y equal 0, which means that I have 2x equals 6. Divide both sides by 2, x equals 3. This one I let x be 0, so I get 3y equals 6. Divide both sides by 3, y equals 2. These are my 2 points of intersection. Y is 2, x is 3, and I draw that line. And my answer is, where do they cross? Now, this is not a great line that I drew. The first one, I actually know where it crosses is different, but if you just tell me where it crosses at, it'll be whole points. This one I'll have x is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and down 2. So according to my graphing there, it would be 5, 2. Okay, or sorry, 5, -2. My bad, because it goes down 2. Okay, because that's where they cross. It's the closest place they cross. Solve the system of linear equations algebraically. I can use substitution or elimination. Elimination on this one is a little easier. So what I would need to do is, I want to do elimination. This is pretty easy. I'm going to eliminate my y's because I have a positive 2y and a negative 1y. Multiply the second equation by 2. And that gives me 6x. minus 2y equals negative 24. Take the top equation, don't change it. 5x plus 2y equals 2. And the reason I did that is because I have positive 2y and negative 2y. When I add the two equations, my y's will disappear. 5x plus 6x gives me 11x. 2y plus negative 2y gives me 0y. 2 plus negative 24 gives me negative 22. Divide both sides by 11. X equals negative 2. Now I know what x is. I still have to find my y. So I take x, take that negative 2, so I can either put it here or I can put it here, either one. I'm going to go ahead and put it in the top one. X is negative 2, 5 times negative 2 plus 2y equals 2. Negative 10 plus 2y equals 2. Add 10 to both sides. 2y equals 12. Divide by 2, y equals 6. Okay. And the next one is solving a system of inequalities by graphing. So what I need to do is I need to graph each line or each inequality. This one here, I'm going to start with this one on this side here. I'm going to do it in red. Your slope is 2. Always make your slope a fraction, 2 over 1. My y-intercept is 4. So I go to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my slope is 2, so I go over 1 and up 2, over 1, up 2. And then because it's not or equal to, it's just this, less than, I have a dashed line. And then I need to test and shade. This one does not go through the origin, so I put in 0 for x and 0 for y. I get 0 less than 0 plus 4. Is 0 less than 4? Yes, it's true. So the origin, the point I tested, is in my shaded area. So I shade that side of the line. I do the same thing with the next one. Now, on the next one, it's not a really great line to graph, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to add 3x to both sides. And I get y is greater than 3x minus 4. This is my y-intercept is 4. My slope is 3 over 1. So, sorry, my slope is negative 4. Y-intercept is negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 down. My slope is 3 over 1. Go over 1, up 3. Once again, this is a dashed line. And then I test a point. 0 minus 0 greater than negative 4. Is 0 greater than negative 4? This is true. So the origin that I tested is also included. So that's where the shading is for that one. And my answer is, where do the two shaded areas overlap? And then last but not least on here. So simplify your exponents. So the first thing I'm going to do is when I have a power to a power, I'm going to do this one here. When I have a power raised to a power, I multiply the exponents. So that gives me x to the 6th times x to the negative 10 over x squared. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the x to the 6th and x to the negative 10th. And what do I do there? I add the powers. That gives me x to the negative 4 over x to the positive 2. And then, because I'm dividing, I subtract. Now, whenever I subtract, I take the larger one, 2, minus the smaller one, in this case negative 4. 2 minus negative 4 ends up being plus 4, so I get 6. So that means I have x to the 6th, but I have to decide where it goes. My bigger power is in the denominator, so my answer goes in the denominator, equals 1 over x to the 6th. The larger of the two is in the denominator. That is where my answer goes. And that's all for today.